Hello participants in Module 1, Changes in the Context of Social World and the Concepts of Sufficiency Economy Philosophy in Submodule 1.3, Sustainable Development Models and Approaches in Issue 1.3 for Learners and Communities Supporting Education for Sustainable Development. We'll focus on the sub-issues of a community context that develop education for sustainable development and synthesis of the context of learners and communities that support education for sustainable development. Let's move on to the first point, the community context that supports the management of education for sustainable development, which we will have 5 topics to be presented. Topic 2 is the causes of community development. Topic 3 is the aim of community development. Topic 4 is about the principles of community development. The 5th topic is the use of education for community development. Let's look at the first topic. In the first topic, we notice that the word community that we mentioned is quite large. What is a community? Community is an important social unit in supporting the management of education. This means that community itself can support the management of education, or even the community can organize education itself. But the community will organize education or support education in the form of lifelong education because the community has cultural capital. Culture is about dress as the traditional capital. We will see various signs, important traditional works, and then wisdom capital in terms of substances in the matter of various herbs, which in terms of cultural capital, traditional capital, and wisdom capital have been accumulated from generation to generation. Therefore, community development using education as a tool creates added value for the community. To be a tool for sustainable education management, let's get to the meaning of community development. What does community development mean? Community development is the process of improving, changing, or developing the people in the community in terms of material, mental, economic, social, and cultural aspects using the process of providing education based on the principle of participating and initiative of the people. Encourage people to cooperate in helping each other and help themselves. With the support of government and private agencies, people have a better quality of life and can be self-reliant in a sustainable manner. Education is to make it prosperous, but that prosperity must be a prosperity that the people in the community can help themselves to live on their own, even after the assistance has been withdrawn. Therefore, there is a thought-provoking question of why we need to use education as a tool to bring cultural capital, traditional capital, and the wisdom capital available in the community to be used in community development. In terms of community development, we have already mentioned the meaning. Let's continue to look at why we need to develop the community, which is why we need to focus on community development. There are 2 causes of community development. The first reason is community development. The reason for doing this is because it is a basic development that supports the development of other aspects of the country. In the really basic parts such as the health system, the public utility system, and then the education system, they are basic developments. Those developments, when they are developed by the state, are the introduction of government services to the people. That is the second reason. When the state brings government services, whether it is public health, public utilities, or education to the people in the area, it will cause an average of prosperity between big cities and rural areas to eliminate divisions. Therefore, in the countryside, there will be a public health system, a public utility system, and an education system that is on par with big cities. So when there is equality, people do not have to migrate to big cities. They can live in their hometowns when there is an average of the work that the state brings various basic government services to the people in the countryside. The work there will be coordination between government agencies and the state, such as the ministerial level and the provincial or district or sub-district level, to solve various problems in the countryside. The areas are as good as the local authorities. Therefore, there must be coordination. In addition, it is necessary to bring basic development, whether it is public health, public utilities, or education, to spread to various rural areas. It is a joint investment between the state and the people because the money used to bring the services of the people's curriculum is also taxed money from the people. In addition, the implementation will be in order to restore the basic of democratic governance, which is by the people for the people and then owned by the people. Democracy means government that belongs to the people, by the people, and for the people. That is, the people own the country. And democratic governance is used as the basic for the people's lives to live together peacefully under the belief that people are born equal. Therefore, they must be protected by the state according to the law and have the opportunity to receive services from the state according to the Constitution. What are we developing the community for? The first goal of the community development is to develop people to be effective. The second aim is to encourage the people to cooperate in the development of their own villages according to the principles of democracy, belonging to the people and being carried out by the people and for the people. In the third aim, when the people have participated in the development, the people will be proud of their own housing and occupation team. This allows them to live in peace. Community development is to promote the abilities of each person. This will bring out the benefits of the community, society, and the country in order to compete with other countries. Aim 4. Community development is to promote the economic status of families and communities. That means that when we are developed, each person is already developed. Each person will have a career, income, and employment. And when there is income, employment, the economy at the household level will improve. When the economy at the household level improves, communities will also be better. The next aim of community development is to promote group integration. In living according to democracy, in community development, it is to improve the environment in society. The different environments that are close to us affect each of us. We must play a part in taking responsibility. In community development, we aim to encourage people to solve their problems and the community, which means that the people who know the best problems are the people in the community. Therefore, the solution to the problem and the person who will know the best solve the problem best is the person in community. Aim 9. Community development is to encourage people to participate in the development of themselves, the community, and the nation. The final goal of community development is to provide education to the people in all forms. All the words here mentioned in the previous video clip are education in the non-formal education system and informal education. But regardless of the form of education, It is to improve the quality of life for both yourself and your family. From the 10 goals of community development mentioned above, there is a thought-provoking question: what is the common point of such goals? In the development of community, it is necessary to rely on 3 principles. The first principle is to start with the people. The second principle is to work with the people. The third principle is to take the people as the heroes. Let's look at the first principle. The first principle is to start with people. The words thought that the people mean to stand on the same point as the people. Look at the world, look at life, look at problems from the perspective of people. To understand the problems and needs of the people, access to the people's lives and minds. This means that if we are assigned to develop the community, we should look at the point where the people are looking. Don't use our point of view, but we should look at it from the perspective of the people. If we use the perspective of the people, we will understand their problems and needs better. Therefore, in order to see or stand on the same position as the people, it is necessary for us to have a platform to exchange and discuss to find problems and needs. In the latter principle, the principle of working with the people. The principle of working with the people means not working for people, because it will make us think that after we finish our work, we will go to ask them that we are working for them, but that we make the people understand their own problems. There is encouragement to stand up and fight the problem, to help think and to help solve the problem that is with us as a participant, as a mentor. There will be a way to make the people understand, and there will be no merit to ask for you, because when the work is completed, it means that the people are the ones who stand up to solve the problem with us. I am an inspiration and a mentor. In the third principle, take the people as heroes. This principle is that the people must be the one who develop by themselves after receiving advice, encouragement, and support, and then by the people must be the development actors. That is, they must carry out the development by themselves. This means that the meaning of the word citizenship will not be used in the old way, but in the new way of meaning citizenship. The result of development will be the result that meets the needs of the people and falls on the people. The people may be either lucky or lucky, but if the problem is not solved, the developed citizen is advised, educated, then it is possible to take advice, apply various amendments to improve and develop again, which will make the people grow into citizens. In the next part, we have discussed what community development is. What is the principle? How can education be involved in community development? The state itself needs to spread education in order to raise the level or status of the people in rural areas to a better condition. Not only education, but also health, public health, economy, income distribution, with an emphasis on people in the community to help themselves. Therefore, we can see that educational agencies at the school level are distributed at the sub-district level, district level, provincial level. In order for a person or citizen to be thoroughly and equitably educated, it is not necessary to travel to a big city. In order to use education for community development, there are 2 studies category. The first type is to improve skills. We organize education to develop skills, which have 2 major groups. It is a specific skill that is a specialized knowledge and expertise necessary for life. For example, the use of computers, the use of various technologies, or even the matter of careers. In the next part, education to develop skills may be basic life skills, skills that are used in everyday life, such as literacy skills. The next type of education that is used for community development is the management of education to improve individual, families, and communities. The management of education to improve each person is likely literacy, numeracy, etc. In the education section to improve the family, such as family planning. Education to improve the community, such as educating the community on the prevention of mosquito larvae, prevention of dust and smoke. From the type of education used to develop the community, what benefits will the learners or people in the community benefit from education to develop skills and education management to improve individuals, families, and communities? This is a thought-provoking question. In the next topic, when we know that we take the context of learners and the context of communities that will support education for sustainable development, we must develop learners to be citizens. We must develop communities by using the principle that the community is the hero of community that help itself. Therefore, we will bring both concepts to the synthesis. Therefore, this topic is a synthesis of the context of learners and communities that support education for sustainable development, which will be discussed in 4 areas. First of all, we will give the meaning of education for sustainable development of citizens and communities. In part 2, we will discuss the education management model for sustainable development of citizens and communities. Later, we will talk about the scope of the education management for sustainable development of citizens and communities. We will talk about the principles of education management for sustainable development of citizens and communities. Let's take a look at the first part of synthesis of education for sustainable citizen and community development. The management of education for the sustainable development of citizens and communities is the process of providing education. That is to make it prosperous, to make the people in the community flourish, prosper in the material, mental, economic, social, political, cultural aspects by allowing them to participate in initiatives, by leaders have a public spirit, see the common good, and have a good, responsible, and ready to change at all levels without domination to improve the quality of life of people and the quality of the community. Can be self-reliant. If we want people in the community to being self-reliant, means that we need to get them to participate, take the initiative and lead. It is necessary to start with education. Therefore, education is at the heart of sustainable civic and community development. The model we use. The education model for sustainable citizen and community development will be based on the lifelong education model. These 3 forms of education support lifelong education, and we must have support from both the government, the private sector, and civil society to achieve successful civic and community development. Based on the above information, both in terms of meaning and forms of education management for the sustainable development of citizens and communities, we use the principles of education management in these 2 forms, education for all and all for education. What are the models we use to develop education for the sustainable development of citizens and communities? The next part in the form of education management for sustainable development of citizens and communities is the matter of boundaries. Scope of education management for sustainable development of citizens and communities. The first scope is that society must improve the quality of oneself, family, and community. Social will be developed mentally and culturally in the midst of many loves. Society will be developed in terms of material infrastructure. The society must be developed, responsible, and participate in the politics and governance of the country. The word society here, the smallest unit in the society is each person. Then it will come to the household or family, and then to the whole community. All will be called social. In scope 2, education for sustainable civic and community development will be related to the economic sphere. So it is necessary to develop skills that support the family's own occupation and of the people in the community. They must develop entrepreneurship and responsible and knowledgeable consumers. The development of responsible and savvy consumer entrepreneurship will be part of the sustainable development goals. In the third scope is the ecological scope. The scope of ecology is education for the sustainable development of citizens and communities, but it must focus on the value of natural resources that emphasizes the sustainability of the ecosystem in the long term. It is necessary to use it for the current and future generations, and then developed technological innovations that are not harmful to the environment. We can see that all three areas are in line with Goal 4 of Sustainable Development, or the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations. In terms of the principles of education management for sustainable development of citizens and communities, we will apply all 5 principles. The first principle is that we will organize lifelong education, which has 3 components: education in the non-formal education system and informal education. As for principle 2, in order to manage education for the sustainable development of citizens and communities, we must start with the needs of citizens and communities. Therefore, it is very necessary for us to discuss, explore, analyze, and study the needs of citizens and communities before starting education. Principle 3. It is to encourage citizens and communities to have freedom of thought and expression. In this principle, it is imperative that education develops people with advanced thinking skills in order to encourage them to think more effectively, have analytical thinking and appropriate expression. Principle 4 encourages citizens and communities to participate in responsible self-service actions, as mentioned in the clip. Previously, the word responsibility here was that we must take into account that the matter of duty and rights and freedoms. The last principle of education for the sustainable development of citizens and communities is the 5th principle, which is the need to respect the value of equal humanity. That is, we must see people as equals. No one is inferior to anyone, or no one is superior to anyone, because everyone owns the country equally. For this thought-provoking question at the classroom level, how do teachers approach education for sustainable civic and community development using these 2 principles? The 2 principles are the principles of education for all and for all education. From all of the above, community development aims to promote the integration of groups in living and developing the environment according to democracy, encourage people to participate in the development of their own problems and then solve the problems of the community using 3 principles. Principle 1 starts with the people. The second principle is to work with people. The third principle is to take the people as heroes. So the state must distribute education to the community to improve the status and improve the quality of life of the people in all areas. In addition, in order to develop the community and develop sustainably, learners and community are important factors in development. Therefore, the process of providing education, both in the informal and informal education with people in the community, it will improve the quality of life of people, that the quality of life of the community, able to develop themselves with the government, private sector, and civil society as the joint drivers. In the video clip, this will have a link to the video. Next is a video clip on the form or approach of education management for sustainable development, which will be in the last big topic, 1.3. Hello.